start talking about domain and range. Domain and range is sometimes not kids' favorite thing because it seems pointless to them, but it's really important because it limits our equations to what are like reasonable answers for whatever we're talking about. I always like to give the example. Long ago, this girl's probably at least 25 by now. I had a kid in class, we were working on averages. We took up everybody's shoe size, and she got that the average shoe size in the class was like 23.5. The shoe size, like a size 23. Now, Brandon is having the appropriate reaction here because is it possible for the average shoe size of the class to be 23? No. We probably got like
that's like a whole bunch
yeah,
of jacks.
yeah. It's not happening, right? I was not so concerned that she got it wrong because I knew exactly what she did. She like added it up and hit the division. She didn't use parentheses, right? I knew what she did. I wasn't that worried about her getting it wrong. What I was concerned about is she did not seem to realize that her answer could not be right. All right. So knowing like appropriate limits on what you're talking about is important so that if you get a ridiculous answer, you know it's a ridiculous answer and you throw that out, right? So domain and range sort of falls in with that. So what you see up here, this is just a reminder about less thans and greater thans. I find that even though some of you have a driver's license, probably most of you have a driver's license or are getting them very soon, you maybe still don't know less than and greater than. So I tell kids, if you're trying to like draw it, like make it with your hands, then if you want to make a less than sign, you have to use your left hand, right? Less than, left hand. So that kind of helps me remember sometimes. Hopefully you know your left from your right. I did find out that maybe Hunter Hyatt did not know his left from his right all that well whenever he started driving a few months ago because I would tell him to turn left and did not always go the direction I went. So he's much better now. He's got it now. Make sure you know these. We'll need to know those. We're going to learn two types of notation here. We're going to use interval notation and inequality notation. We have to know them both because they might throw either one of us at us on the EOC. Most kids usually find interval notation a little bit easier. Interval notation, you're always going to go left to right. Okay? If you want to include an endpoint, you use brackets. Ooh, I don't know why that went. I didn't turn the pen on, that's why. You want to use brackets. So they look like this, square brackets, like that. If the endpoint is not included, you use parentheses. Okay, so you're going to include the endpoint when it's like a less than or equal to scenario. So like, if I were to tell all of you to bring me at least $20 tomorrow as my tip for being a great teacher, then you could bring me $20, right? It would be okay to bring 20, or you could bring more. That would be okay. We're not negotiating. I also want to keep my job, so don't really bring me money tomorrow. But if I told you to bring me more than $20, can you bring me $20? No, that won't work. I will be upset with $20. You need more than 20, so you got to bring me at least like 20 and 1 cent, right? So sometimes we're not including the number we're talking about. So that would be parentheses, an open circle. And sometimes we are including that number that we're talking about for that. If you see an infinity sign, which we'll see here in a second, you always use a parentheses. Should put my parentheses right here. With an infinity sign. That is because, can you ever get to infinity? No, that's like the definition of infinity, right? So you can't ever get there, so you can't include it, right? It can't be included because it doesn't really exist. It's more of an idea than anything. So, so let's look at, oh, I forgot this. We got to do this also. We also have a couple new symbols that I don't know if you've seen or not before, that are really just like some mathematicians want to use as few words as possible. We don't like words. We like to make symbols for everything so that we have to write less. So they really could just use the word that I'm going to put here, but they made a symbol for it. The one we're going to see the most is this U. It usually looks like this whenever it's typed. It's kind of like a wide, bold U. And it stands for union, and it means or. So, like if I said that you can either bring me $20 tomorrow, or you can wash my car if you're broke and you don't have any money to bring me. Then that would be, you could do either one, right? But we also have this other symbol right here. It is called the intersection. So it would be like if I told you that you can bring me $20 tomorrow and you can wash my car, right? That I would expect both of those things out of you. But once again, I'd like to keep my job, so I will not be accepting bribes at this time. No. Well, I mean, I don't know. If you can come up with the equivalent of my salary in retirement for the rest of my life, plus maybe a little extra, you got that kind of money, come see me, we'll talk. But otherwise, I shall not be accepting bribes because I want to keep my job. And it's maybe the wrong thing to do. So. But the one that we're going to use the most here is union. We're not really going to see intersection a whole lot. It's going to be mostly union. I just wanted to put them both here because we might see them later, and you'll know the difference. Okay, so we're going to try to do a couple of these before we go, and then it'll be about time to pack up. So these are just number lines. We're going to extend this eventually to looking at like full graphs, like a XY coordinate graph, but we won't get there today. If I look at this number line, it is talking about all of the numbers between -5 and +1. Is -5 included? No. Is 1 included? Yes. So probably a good idea to write down right here. If you have a colored in circle, like if it's colored in like that, closed circle, that means the number is included. And like we wrote down a few slides ago, that means you're going to use brackets, or when we do inequality notation, it means you're going to use either a less than or equal to sign or a greater than or equal to sign. You'll use that or equal to. If you have an open circle, if the middle of it's not filled in, then the number is not included. So this is going to be like parentheses, or you're going to use less than or greater than signs, no or equal to with those. When you have this happening, you can see like this is all the numbers right up to -5. This is like whenever your parents tell you that you better not touch your brother one more time. And what do? You get your finger as close to your brother as you possibly can without touching your brother, right? Just to aggravate. That's sort of what's happening right here. Yeah, it's a little rough sometimes there. We have experienced this at our household. In interval notation, most kids kind of like it best. So you're just going to start on the left side, and you're going to go up till you hit the graph, and you're going to see what number you hit first. What number do we hit first if we start over here on the left side? -5. Should I use, hold on, -5. Should I use a bracket or a parentheses? Parentheses, because this is not included, right? We're not including that. We're just almost there, but not touching it. Then we're going to put a comma, and then we're going to go see where the graph stops. That's at 1. Should I use a bracket or a parentheses there?
Bracket.
Bracket, because that one's colored in. Now, it does look weird. But what this is telling you is it's telling you all the numbers between -5 and +1. We do not include -5, but we do include +1. Okay? Now, inequality notation. In inequality notation, I don't want to write that you always use less thans, but for this type, I'm going to put usually. Use less than or less than or equal to. There is a case where we got to use a greater than sign, but it doesn't happen too often. I'll show you what it looks like whenever we do that. The way you do it with inequality notation, you want your lowest number first. You'll do -5. Since you do not want to include that, you're just going to do a less than sign. Then you'll have an X. Then we do want to include 1, so we'll do less than or equal to and 1. Okay, so it's always going to be less than with the X in the middle for that. Okay, let's do this one last one here, and then we'll go. Inequality notation is probably easier on this one because it says a set of numbers that are less than 3 or greater than 7. Well, they're using the words less than and greater than, right? So that makes it easier to do that here. So it's X is less than 3. I can use my fancy union symbol here if I want for the word or you could write the word or, either is fine. And then greater than 7, so X is greater than 7. Okay, let's think about what that looks like on a number line. We got 3 is right here. We got 7 is right here. We're talking about everything below 3 and everything greater than 7. So this time we're talking about like not between 3 and 7, right? But sort of like apart from 3 and 7. So if we want to do interval notation here, what number lies at the very end of this arrow right here on this side of the number line?
2 or 1.
2, those are all on that side, you're right. What's at the furthest? The very furthest.
0, -10.
Go further.
-20.
Go further.
-infinity.
Negative infinity is at the end over here, right? And then what is at the furthest end over here past 7?
I don't know.
That's positive infinity, right? Because you would go like 10, 100, 1,000, a gazillion, then infinity. So to write this, you're going to start furthest to the left. You're going to do negative infinity. And then this graph stops at 3. You'll do your union symbol for another one. And then you'll do 7 to infinity. All of those will have parentheses. Okay, we're going to work on that more tomorrow. You can go ahead and pack up. There is no homework for tonight. Don't get too used to it. It's coming one day. But